Today we will be starting a new series where I compare my camera scoring versus my Joycon scoring. And in this video, we're gonna be comparing Apple by CharliXCX, which recently released on Just Dance Plus and also in the Fitness Music Pack. So why exactly am I doing this? Ever since camera scoring first released back in 2023 or 24, like even in the beta releases, I noticed that I almost always have a better score with the camera, which I think is an experience that a lot of people have had. However, I did notice that for one or two songs, my Joycon score was actually higher than camera scoring, and I got curious. So I now want to try and see this for like all the songs. Like I want to see if it was just like a fluke, like a one-off, or it's really that way. We don't know. We're gonna see. I want to like really try and compare and look at the score breakdown with my dancing personally. I have my iPad here. I'm reading off of it. I did set a few like rules for this. So rule number one, no first tries. I have to at least like generally know the dance before I do it or before I film it. Like the overall big picture details of the choreography. So this is mostly gonna be the easy, medium difficulty ones. And I do want to cover the extremes, but I will have to learn them first before we film. I'm not sure though if I should film camera or Joycon scoring first. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna put them in a randomizer because it's like a 50-50 chance, like what you start with, right? So I'm gonna put them in a randomizer, and then whatever it lands on, that's the scoring method that we're gonna start with for a song. I hope it makes sense, but you'll see later. I am doing my best to stick to like the guidelines that Ubisoft and Just Dance have put out for setting up your phone for camera scoring. So I did my best to follow like it's like at least 2 feet off the ground and at least, what was that, 5 or 6 feet away from you. I'm gonna do my best to like dance full out and dance the same way as best as I can for both Joycon and camera scoring attempts. Without further ado, let's get to it. Let's try and analyze this. On the surface level, of course, the camera scoring got me the better score, which is about 12.8, versus the Joycon, which got me 12.7, I think. One very interesting thing I noticed is that at first glance, it would seem like I reached Megastar first with Joycon scoring, not with camera. This actually really tripped me up when I was putting all my footage side by side, so I had to like triple check if I labeled all my footage correctly, and I did. I may have a vague theory as to why this is, so let's break it down. Before we begin though, a few more disclaimers, so please bear with me here. Number 1. The numbers you'll see today are not definitive of the whole Just Dance player base. I am not saying that this is what happens for every single Just Dance player every single time they play these songs with these scoring methods. You and I dance very differently. We all have different skills, different techniques, different body shapes, among many other things. So if you were to try this out for yourself, your results will for sure be different from mine. If you want to see any larger trends or patterns with scoring, you'd have to ask as many people as possible in the player base to record their own scores, send them in, and you'd have to analyze all of that data. That is not what I'm trying to achieve. This is not some big shot statistical study that I'm trying to do because A, I am a sample size of 1, B, there are many other variables that can contribute to scoring and how it's calculated. Number 2, I'll be looking at how many times I got perfect or super, etc., but I am not going to try and calculate how many points each of those hits contributed to my final score. Number 3, I'm mostly going to try and focus on showing the raw data, the percentages as well, and maybe make a few comparisons. I'm going to try and refrain from saying that the differences are statistically significant or anything like that. That's too complex for me to handle at the moment. I don't want to say something is significant or like statistically significant when it's technically not, like from a mathematical standpoint. Plus, if I really try and go all in on the statistics, these videos will A, take longer to make, and B, will end up being like 30 minutes or more. Something like that, Lamau. Don't want that. Again, I am a sample size of 1, and my own score may also vary the next time I do the same song and dance the same way and wear the same clothes. This is simply a snapshot of a point in time where I'm mostly confident with the choreography. I hope those were clear enough, so let's move on. As I mentioned earlier, camera scoring got me a total of 12,818 points, and Joycon scoring got me a total of 12,776 points. That is a 42-point difference, which I think isn't as big as some of my other scores that I remember. Like from playing around with other songs that have both cam and Joycon scoring, I would usually get the difference of about 100 points or more. If we look at the total number of moves though, camera scoring has a total of 134 moves and Joycon has 102. Now I could be wrong, but maybe this is why I reached Megastar first with Joycon, or at least I appeared to reach Megastar first with Joycon because there aren't as many moves to complete, I guess. I don't know. Like by the time I hit Megastar on Joycon, maybe I was close to finishing all 102 moves versus the 134 on camera. Again, I could be wrong. I don't know. I hope that kind of made sense. It's just my theory anyway. If you have other thoughts though, of course, please let me know. Next, I got a total of 119 perfects for camera versus 88 for Joycon. If we calculate those percentages, 119 of 134 is about 88.8% versus 88 of 102, that's about 86.2% for Joycon. For supers, I got just 1 out of 134 for cam, which is about 0.7%, and I got 7 out of 102 for Joycon, about 6.8%. So I got more supers with Joycon than with camera. For goods, I got 12 out of 134, about 8.9% for camera, and only 4 of 102, about 3.9% for Joycon. This time, I got more goods with camera, not with Joycon. I find that a bit interesting and also surprising because like yes, we got more perfects, but we also got more goods than supers with camera. Personally, my expectation was that camera would give me more perfects and supers, but not as many goods, if any at all. I genuinely wonder like why that is, like from a camera/dancing perspective. I looked back at my footage a little and it was kind of hard for me to pinpoint or ascertain why camera scored me that way. I really made sure to dance the same way for both. I think you guys can see that. If you have any theories as to why, let me know as well. Moving on, for OKs, I did not get any for cam and I got just 1 for Joycon. That one OK was actually the very first move where you put your hands on your hips, Lamau. I don't know why. Maybe I was too early. Lastly, I also got no X's for both, so I did not miss any moves. I also got 2 out of 2 gold moves for both. At a glance, it might look like I generally did better with camera scoring. It gave me more perfect, 88.8% versus 86.2%, and even my overall score out of the max for camera is a little higher, 12.8 versus 12.7, which is nice, I'm not gonna lie. However, I think these numbers may be a little too close to definitively say that I did better with camera for this song in all aspects. Instead, I'd like to look at my numbers this way and group them a little differently. So let's take the number of perfects plus supers that we got for each method versus how many goods, okays, and X's we got for each method. So for camera, that would be 120, 119 plus 1 out of the 134 moves. 120 of 134 is about 89.5% versus goods, okays, and X's, 12 of 134, about 8.9%. For Joycon, that would be 88 perfects, 7 supers, 95 out of 102, which is about 93.1%. Versus goods, okays, and X's, only 5 of 102, about 4.9%. You may be wondering why these specific groupings, so I'll try and explain. By now, you've maybe heard of the information that says a perfect in Just Dance doesn't necessarily mean 100%. You can see this with some people's full perfect scores. They got full perfects, it was all green, but the numerical value of their score was still less than the max. Some have said that perfect starts at 75. I've also heard others say it starts at 80, and some even say it starts at 85. I guess it depends on the song difficulty and how many moves there are in total for each song, but if we try and follow this general logic, we can maybe guess that the ranges for each hit might look something like this. X is 0, OK is 1 to 24, good is 25 to 49, super is 50 to 74, perfect is 75 to 100. Or maybe something like this. X is 0 to 19, OK is 20 to 39, good is 40 to 59, super is 60 to 79, perfect is 80 to 100. I even found someone on Reddit who said that the range goes something like this as well. It's on a scale from 0 to 10. So X is 0, OK is 1 to 2, good 3 to 4, super 5 to 7, and perfect 8 to 10. The same person who described this 0 to 10 scale also had this to say about the streak system in the older version, that is pre-2023 versus the newer version, 2023 until the present versions of the game. According to them, perfect, supers, and goods contribute to your move streak, and OKs lost your streak in past games. In the Just Dance application that houses 2023 edition and above, the system is the same except good doesn't count towards your streak, instead it makes your streak go down by 1, but it doesn't lose it like OK does. Now, I'm not sure how to verify if all of this information is 100% factual. I can't seem to find any interviews or articles from the devs themselves that talk about this, although the bit about the ranges has been talked about in the community. The person themselves, though, said that they can't remember where they got the info, but of course, let me know if you guys have sources. I would love to check them out. So while it kinda makes sense to me, again, it's all hypothetical. But, given that this is what we have that we can work with, here are the 2 reasons why I'm looking at my scores in the way that I mentioned, at least for this song. Number 1, taking into account our hypothetical scales, we can maybe say that a super, which again, hypothetically, starts anywhere from about 50 to 60%, is still a relatively high score. Hence the grouping that I mentioned of perfects plus supers, which are on the higher end of the scale, at least 50 to 60% and above, versus goods, okays, and X's, which are on the lower end of the scale, below 60 or 50%, thereabouts. Number 2, taking into account what the Redditor said about the streaks in the newer version of the game, which is what we are looking at after all, perfects plus supers are basically the hits that keep your streak going, versus goods, okays, and X's, which are the hits that change or modify your streak. That is, they either reduce or break your streak. So all this means that for camera, 89.5% of my score is made up of the higher scoring hits, and the lower scoring hits make up about 8.9%. Meanwhile, for Joycon, 93.1% of my score is made up of the higher scoring hits, and the lower scoring hits make up about 4.9%. We haven't even added the gold moves yet to these numbers, so if we also consider and add them in, that's 2 of 2 gold moves for both Cam and Joycon, the numbers will look something like this. For camera, that's 119 plus 1 plus 2, 122 of 134 is 91.04%. Joycon, that's 88 plus 7 plus 2, 97 of 102 is about 95%. This is why I said earlier that me getting more goods than supers with camera is interesting and surprising to me. It gave me just 1 super and 12 goods. So, if we go by the information that we found online, technically, camera for this attempt and for this song gave me more of the lower scoring hits. Technically. However, if those 12 goods had been supers instead on my camera score, then yeah, absolutely, camera would have been the clear winner all around for this one. I now wonder if my clothes had anything to do with me getting the results that I did for camera. The pants I wore to filming were very baggy, and I think they obscured the individual shapes of my legs a little bit at times. I'd already been thinking of wearing the same type of clothing when filming this experiment, so black fitted long sleeves, black fitted pants/leggings. Maybe the more defined your silhouette is and the more it stands out from your background, the better your camera may be able to see you and read your movements. I unfortunately forgot to include this in my rules, and I also forgot to wear this kind of outfit when I filmed, but I guess moving forward, for the future episodes of the series, I'll also do my best to wear that type of black fitted outfit when filming. To conclude, we can say that on a surface level, camera scoring gave me a slightly higher overall score and a few more perfects in terms of percentage. But if we take a closer look in terms of which method gave me more of the quote-unquote higher scoring or quote-unquote streak maintaining hits, technically, Joycon may have been a bit better in that regard, despite it giving me a slightly overall lower score and slightly fewer perfect hits. At least for this specific song and choreography, and this specific day that I attempted and filmed this. Still, I'm excited to see what results I'll have with the other songs. As a bonus, these are what the pie charts look like for each scoring method in case you were curious. I'm sorry that the colors aren't very colorblind friendly. I wanted to use the colors of the sprites in-game. Let me know if you have other suggestions for better coloring, and I'll also try and look for some myself. And that's all for this video. I kept procrastinating this honestly because I was kind of scared of putting it out there, but well, here you go. In the end though, I actually really enjoyed breaking my own scores down and seeing how I did for both scoring methods. What are your thoughts? Which song would you like to see me cover next? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see me play Just Dance live, I am also on Twitch, although I don't have a set schedule for it, but usually I try to go live either Wednesdays or Friday afternoons, GMT +8. I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it interesting. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more of this series. Follow me on all my socials, and I'll see you next time.